camera movement plays such a huge role in a film in all films, but particularly this, because even though there's a lot of people moving around, there's a lot of dancing going on, you can't just have a camera sit there and watch them the way you would if you were in a show or in the theater. You have to give it some life, but it has to complement what's going on in front of the lens. Can you talk to us about maybe some of the strategies you used or the lessons you learned working with these big, huge, giant scenes and needing to incorporate camera movement?
Well, I mean, camera movement was it was a kind of a mandate from Ryan. You know, he loves camera movement. If you look at his work, he moves the camera quite a bit, and it's just part of how he tells stories. So it's a good segue because I wanted to credit Casey, our choreographer, because ultimately it's like, you know, this is a person who was able to take the choreography from the play, translate it into something for a film, and then have to do another layer once we got the camera going, so that there would be counters and people showing up in frame and exiting frame, and you know, the quickness to which he was able to adjust his dancers and even our cast was so remarkable. You know, so we had we just had the flexibility to still create rather than be tied to, these are the angles we're going to do, and let's just make sure you're choreographed for these angles. No, Casey was around, and the choreography team was around to be able to adjust based on where we wanted to put the camera, which is great for me because when you're working in a scenario like a mall where, okay, oh wow, the light is coming through the cross right now. It's like, we want to put the camera here. They would be able to, okay, God, everybody take 3 steps forward. You know what I mean? And we were able to move in every scenario. We were able to move a large number of people dancing to get the best possible shot. So it really isn't like, I had this experience with Black Swan where Darren and I would choreograph things, and how important the choreographer was to understand, like, you know, not stepping on the thing they created, but yeah, accommodating the camera, you know, I think is, it's one of those things that I always marvel at, that they could, turn on a dime.
Yeah.
And, they did the same thing when they come barreling out of the theater on their way to Sardi's, same thing. It's like, you know what, the camera's going to be, I need you guys to be closer. It's a very wide lens. And okay, everybody, and it's pretty cool.
Did you have to make any concessions or compromises in your lighting or camera choices for the fact that you did have to be wide for so much of this in order to see the dancers, to see the numbers, and to understand like the scale of the scenes?
That's a good question. Yes. I mean, I had done about 3 or 4 straight anamorphic films, which I love. But, I was tiring of them. I was tiring of that look. And one of the things I love about taking different projects is how it forces me to do something different. And so this one, because there was going to be an ensemble cast, I knew I wasn't going to be working at a T2 on an anamorphic lens. I need to sometimes I need to work at 4 on a spherical lens, because I didn't want, focus pullers have to make a choice between 4 people in a room. So that sort of dictated in a good way that we went spherical, which brought me straight to the sort of lights lenses that I had tested previously with on some short form work in New York. I was able to get a hold of them, and I just kind of fell in love with it. It was like I remember when the Sumluxes first came out, I was just like, wow, these are, I love these. Plus, it has a nice little red Leica tag on the side of them, and a font they won't tell me the name of. But the lights lenses, like they really hit me, and I think they're like such a workhorse lens, and they didn't have the qualities that I don't like about really sharp lenses, but they had the qualities that don't make them, the vintage glass. So if I had to choose one set of lenses to shoot, 10 consecutive films with, it'd probably be these.
Right.